What is up, guys? Evanaldo here. So, was going to do a third attempt at a live stream, but I gotta be somewhere in about 45 minutes, half hour. So, we'll just do a pre-recorded video right now. But obviously, Ethereum getting really close to all-time highs is pretty inevitable. I think you're gonna get there, really soon here. You got about $100 more to go. I said 12 hours ago, like over 12 hours ago, it didn't hit twice, two attempts at trying to watch this all-time high. It'll probably happen when I'm not home, but that's okay. But we're basically there, and I think the big thing everybody's wondering is about kind of altcoin season with this kind of hitting into all-time high, and we'll talk about in this video. What coins potentially are looking really good on their ETH pair, or getting close to looking for a rally for at least the next 2 weeks, I would say, into the end of this month, or generally into probably October. Generally into October. I guess it depends how bad you think September is going to be, how bad that September potential pullback will be. Couple things I wanted to show you guys. So this is over on BidFi right here. Nice realized profits here. All the trades are doing phenomenal. Chainlink all these trades were in the Discord ahead of time. Stop losses, entry points, take profits. All swing trades that I pretty much posted. Also got KMAC in there, Nightshade in there. Both excellent traders as well, providing a lot of really good TA. If you want one free month in there, if you sign up to any of the links down below for these exchanges, deposit at least $100. Give you one free month in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord. Just open a support ticket in the Discord with your UID or your email, and we'll get you sorted. 100K bonus, 20% cashback off your fees for life. If you sign up with my link to BloFin, 100K bonus, and then 25% off your fees for life on Bitunix. And then BidFi, 20% off your fees for life over here. And then the Bitcoin trade to get 10K worth of Bitcoin potentially. Just certain trading, a volume amount that you get the bonuses. Obviously, 50 mil for 2,500. Countdown 12 days. So if you're a good trader, if you trade a lot, good bonuses potential here. So yeah, I heard the rumor is BloFin, you do have to use a VPN now in some places. So just keep that in mind. But Bitunix and BidFi, no VPN still. So just keep that in mind. That's what happens. But you probably should use a VPN anyway to keep things safe. I generally always try to keep one on anyway. But yeah, and let's get into it. Right before that, how's the order? Okay, so funding rates, are starting to get a little bit higher on Ethereum, but I still think you generally, Bitcoin as well, I still think you generally should stay bullish for, 2 more weeks maybe before a potential September pullback. That's what's kind of looking towards. So keep an eye on these funding years. They're finally starting to get high. People are starting to kind of finally get a little bit greedy when ETH is almost at a new all-time high. And then altcoin season index has been slightly coming up here. Which looks like that altcoin, the yearly high altcoin season was last December. So I think you should be headed back there in the coming months. So it's looking good for altcoins. So, Ethereum right now, 8 hour, maybe you get that bear div as you hit the 8 hour on that, the old all-time high. I guess that would be the most bearish case. I think a rejection from the old all-time high, and that sends you into, a 20 or 30% correction. My gut instinct tells me we got a little bit more. When I look at funding rates and all that, you should be able to get up to 5,200 this month. That's the highest, though, I could see us going for probably this month before some type of pullback. We want a healthy correction there. 5,200, and then, into September or something, probably more extended than that, back down to 42. A lot of liquidation points, I think, at like 4,000, high threes, so back there. And hopefully into October, 7,300, which is going to be the big area that I've been waiting for. And it's just crazy to kind of look at, how well this has come up, how well this has done since that bottom in April when a lot of people were, kind of giving up hope for it. But, the crypto market is always crazy. Ethereum versus Bitcoin, a lot of pain erased all the way back. And this is probably going to keep going at least into this trend line here, I would say, in the coming months. All the pain erased back from kind of August to 24, so that's good. And now a few other ones. So now we talk about, potentially altcoins. So Solana versus Ethereum. A lot of people ask me about, Solana. It's down 55%. Hitting a decent area. You're getting, some potential, some deep anchor waves and such kind of forming. I think you may see a reversal, a trend reversal here. I think you definitely may see a trend reversal. The other thing, too, that we want to realize, too, for others versus ETH, and that's most everything outside the top 10 of market cap versus ETH, big area we're hitting. The last time we hit here, June of 24, they outperformed ETH. So you could be repeating that situation. But the crazy thing here is if we really zoom out, this generally outperforms Ethereum. So that's kind of good for a potential altcoin season. This could get a nice jump, relatively soon. There's some alts that are, looking like they want to do that as well. Cardano, kind of big area. You got a little jump recently. If you could hold right here, there's definitely a lot of potential for Cardano. So Cardano's on my list right here. Solana is obviously on my list. Chainlink especially looks really good. I think you could break up and potentially make a new all-time high, 2 or 3x in the coming months. If we look at Chainlink versus ETH here, this is looking really good. You're already getting those things that we're kind of still waiting on for Solana, waiting up for Cardano. Nice anchor wave on the weekly. This is a great potential setup against Ethereum right now. I mean, it may not play out, but you could outperform. If let's say Ethereum does, I don't know, 50 to 80% from here up to 7,000, maybe a little bit more. This could easily do it through 2 or 3x. Then you'd be up to these points against Ethereum. I don't know if you're gonna come back to up to these highs on Ethereum, but you could get back up to those levels right there. A lot of people ask me about Python. It's a newer coin. There's not like a ton of data I have on it because it's so new. But I do wonder why that's not loading. But I do think it could jump back up to some of these points. Oh yeah, right there. Money flow looks good. I think it looks pretty good. It's hard to say. I think a 2 or 3x is definitely obtainable. Maybe a little bit more. If we look at it on the ETH pair, that's where it gets kind of depressing. But can you turn around here? Maybe. We don't know which ones are going to exactly, outperform ETH here. But, when you look at that, it does get kind of depressing. A few other ones I would probably be more hesitant on, for example, would be DOT, even though it does look good. But when you, kind of zoom out, this thing just keeps going down. It doesn't mean it can't, reverse course and really jump up a lot higher here. But it is, some of these are, they're kind of depressors. And if you look at, like, the ETH evaluation here, you know what I mean? Like, what are we trying to, we're trying to wait for something, but it's just not, we're just not getting that. Let me just try to, we're just not getting that. But here it looks a little bit better at 5-day. There's some potentials. Riskier business, though. Riskier business. But if you do get an altcoin season, most of them will probably start to outperform Ethereum. And they can if we do get a significant pullback in September, they still could outperform ETH on the pullback as well, as we saw into April, as we saw into when ETH was really doing really bad. A lot of alts did outperform it as well there. So HBAR, that I think you got a good shot at new all-time highs. 92 cents at 2 or 3x here, probably at least the old all-time highs, I would say. And if we look at HBAR ETH, that's an interesting area. So if you could hold there, hopefully kind of a jump there. I just want to look at the I think that chart I just showed you was a little weird. This one's a little better. I like how you're hitting this point. Still could be risky, but some of these against ETH, I mean, the ones I would be most confident on against ETH right now, Chainlink I would be pretty confident on. AVAX is the other one. I didn't talk about that. Chainlink and Cardano would be the two. Chainlink number 1, Cardano number 2. AVAX, I like how this really looks. 3-day looks great. I think you could jump up to $33. I mean, where could we end up in the next couple weeks into end of month? Probably 33, maybe even a little bit higher. AVAX versus ETH is an interesting one because you're hitting this area right here, right that low, and then we jumped up like crazy there. So that's kind of where you're hitting that area, but you're not getting that jump yet. That's that problem here. I want to see a jump above that level before I want to, bet that AVAX is going to start to really do better against Ethereum. So just keep that in mind. But a lot can change as this hits a new all-time high, which should happen. Oh man, it could happen, happen any minute now, really. By the end of the day, 4 or 5 hours, maybe less, As soon as you get that, I think a lot of people are going to be back in the seat. The last thing I'll show you real quick here, fear and greed index is creeping up a little bit. I think this is going to shoot up a lot, potentially into extreme greed, similar to kind of an area like this, as we get a new all-time high in ETH into the end of the month. So September may be that extreme greed kind of needing that pullback there, and then you'll get one last rally, at least into October. Based on previous history, everything would tell you kind of October should be the peak. We'll see what happens, but yeah, we're really excited for the market. I mean, I don't really care too much about, Bitcoin right now, just as long as it doesn't nuke, I think we'll be fine. You want it to be boring and sideways so people put money into ETH and all the altcoins. But I think this can get up to 130, easily can get to 130 August 20th. I'd be looking at, so about a week, and then 130. And that's kind of, you look at Bitcoin at 130 and then probably a pullback of, I don't know, I would say probably 15, maybe back to 108. I mean, who knows? But, some type of correction. And then into October, hopefully, your 140, 150K. And that's probably your bull market. Unless you think we're going up to 200, which is not impossible. We can. But that's probably most of your bull market. Like, I would be DCing out October. And that's kind of the way I'm planning it. And I think there's a lot of money to be made here. I mean, there's probably a lot, especially if you've been in it. I mean, if you're buying altcoins right now for the first time, you probably could get a 2 or 3x if you do it carefully. If you do it carefully and you don't go crazy into the euphoria and all that. But, especially for somebody who's been in it a while, for this, you got more discipline and all that. Trigger waves on ApeCoin. I think this is going to be at $1. This should be at $1 relatively soon. That's what I'm hoping for. So, anyway, guys, I'll see you guys really soon. We'll probably do a live stream later or something. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out the links down below for the exchanges. A lot of good stuff only with my link, the discount on the fees, and the trading bonuses all down below. I'll see you guys really soon. Goodbye.